lines on the trip today, and before we exit the harbor, I want you to ignore them for now and actually check out this building on the left with the green trim. This is known as the Mbari Building, or the Monterey Bay Aquarium Research Institute, considered to be one of the top marine institutes on the planet. And these are their two large research vessels over here on the left. The Rachel Carson and the Western Flyer right behind it. And they will send their ships out for days or weeks at a time, doing all sorts of marine research all across the globe. So they lead the way in things like great white shark tagging and deep sea exploration, as they tend to find a new species about every couple weeks.
Wow.
So if you don't already, I highly recommend keeping up to date with Mbari on their website, Instagram, or Facebook.
See, it's got the arm to grab the rope.
Incredible photos and videos of the stuff they find thousands of feet down in the depths. Okay, so that is Mbari. And then today on the boat for the rest of the trip, we are going to be telling directions similar to a rotary dial clock. So the front of the boat or the bow will be your 12. The right side or starboard is going to be your 3 o'clock. The back side of the boat or stern will be your 6. And the left side of the boat or port is going to be our 9 o'clock today. So that's how we're going to be telling direction, pointing out where all the animals are. So let's see, besides those sea lions that we just passed again, don't worry, we're going to see hundreds to maybe thousands of those sea lions today. So that's probably were the first few ones. We're also looking for things like birds. We get a lot of cool birds out in the bay, such as albatross, fulmars, gators, murres, auklets, and shearwaters. So if you're a birder, do let me know, and I'll point out as many bird species as I can today. And I forgot to mention my personal favorite, the tufted puffin. So if you're a birder, just let me know. Never know what cool birds we'll see. And we're also looking for other animals here, such as the harbor seal, which is generally more in the left, looking for bycatch and chum coming off the fishing docks here. And then, of course, the most adorable, charismatic resident of them all, the sea otter.
Yes, that's literally
what I know. It's posing. That's a photo op.
Usually sea lions. Seals have ears.
Sea lions have ears. Here, right back with it.
So if you guys, I want you guys come over to the left. You may want to come to the rail to get a funny photo up here. If you look at the back of this green boat, you'll notice there are some pirate sea lions. You don't see those every day. You notice some sea lions that have hoisted themselves up into this boat here. And they're taking a little nap. You can see that one's head sticking out of the back of the corner there.
Oh yeah, right there.
There's probably another one on the other side of this little tin can boat. So you can come over to the left and you can check out these big male sea lions that have then become the stowaways in their private fishing vessel.
See him sleeping back there?
Oh yeah, that's
Danielle? Like on the other side of that boat, there was a big kind of black.
Yeah, there were a couple more sea lions on that boat when we were coming in a few minutes ago, so it looks like a couple of them had jumped off, but one of them still looked pretty comfortable there. The California sea lions we're going to see here in the harbor and out the bay, they are mostly males, as the females spend the majority of their time down in the rookeries in the Channel Islands off the coast of Ventura, Santa Barbara. But when these males reach their prime, they will weigh between 600 to 800 pounds, making many of them larger than most of the world's grizzly bears. They're a big animal, definitely not to be messed with. That's why I always say they don't call them lion for nothing.
Hear that barking? That's the sea lion. Now we're out right where we were.
If you look really closely, you will be able to notice that they have blue and gold feathers where their throats are. And they will flutter those feathers, and that is called gular flapping, and it helps the birds to cool down. So as we pass them by, see if you can locate that gular pouch. I can see some blue and gold feathers on a couple of them. Can you? And of course, on the rock jetty, you have some more sea lions over there, some gulls. There's some brown pelicans in the distance. The juveniles are going to be brown with the white stomachs, and the breeding adults, again, we're talking about the pelicans, are going to be, have the white plumage on their heads. Now again, we were looking for otters. We do have an otter toward the rocks over there at our 2 o'clock in the distance, kind of hard to spot. It just looks like a little lump. What is that over there? I'm looking for more otters. Again, Moss Landing does have the densest and largest population of otters on the planet. We get about 180 to 310 otters in and around the harbor during any given day, so it's definitely the world's spot to see them. There was another otter next to this other post over here on our left, but it just dove. But if you are looking up at our 11 o'clock, you can see there's about 20 sea otters toward the sand dunes over there at our 11. All those brown dots in the water right along the beach over there. You'll be able to see them on the right-hand rail in a moment. That is pretty much the largest raft of sea otters maybe anywhere in the world, as you get 50 there at a time. So that's what those people in the parking lot above them are doing. They're looking at the otters. So after the trip, I will tell you to get there. Alright guys, well some good news. Looks like the fog for the moment has kind of subsided. We get fog almost every morning till noon, but now it just looks overcast. So I will take that. We're not going to curse us today. But if you have a wristband, now is the time to turn them on. If you have any questions on the surface of the sea. We're also looking for big splashes coming from breaching or tail lobbing. Things like dorsal fins coming from dolphins, sharks, sunfish, and even the big killer whale. We will also always look for things like turtles and jellyfish. And other than that, if you think you see anything at all, don't hesitate to let Captain Mike and I know, so we can stop and check it out. Other than that, the only bad news I have for you guys today, geez, I don't know how to tell you guys. It's going to take, like 2, maybe 3 minutes to scout for the whales are. I've already seen whales. You can see them right now. So we already got eyes on whales, so don't get too relaxed. Get your cameras ready. We're going to be with the whales in no time at all. Here we go. I think we're going to check out the sunfish because they'll be a little harder to find. So hold on tight. We're going to let you know inside the boat when we get a little closer. So if you're looking at it, we're going to try the left. So come over to the left-hand rail. We're going to line you up before we look at the whales and the sunfish because sunfish are much harder to find than the whales. So it's right up there at 11. You'll see its big fin sticking out of the water. So if you see that boat in the horizon, past the kayakers, you're looking in between us and that boat.
Come all the way up, guys. So we gotta have everyone come up today, guys. Get left the blue glass. Come on up for me, please. So you guys are gonna want to be in the left-hand rail there, all right? See, there it is, right there. Come on up. Everybody.
Right here.
Hey guys, you gotta come all the way across the blue glass. All the way up.
Hi guys, again, do come all the way up the rail there. We got to fill. We'll have to get really good at this and we'll fill all the space today. Look, there's whales, but we want to look at this sunfish first because it is a fish. So it's smaller and it doesn't have to breathe at the surface.
Oh, we're splashing now. They're like light.
There it is, the ocean sunfish right here at our 10 o'clock. This is the world's largest bony fish.
There's a lot of jellyfish.
There's fish here about 20 feet
So
up.
there it is, and it's right under the water just off our left here. Just went down a bit, but let's see if it comes right back up. So these sunfish grow to over 13 feet long
Look straight
and weigh
down.
over
See the
6,000
jellies?
pounds. And they get that big by eating jellyfish. So that makes up about 99% of the sunfish's diet. Let's see, kind of sat down a bit. I just lost his shadow as we came around the corner. Keep your eyes open. A lot of times they come to the surface like this to lay on their side
Come
to
here,
absorb all the
Danielle,
UV
look
light from
straight
the
down.
sun.
You can see these
Well,
giant
they
jellyfish.
attract birds over to them to keep parasites off their
See
bodies.
them?
Yeah.
That's what the
So
sunfish
let's take
feeds
this
on.
back down. We may find more today, but let's turn our attention toward the whales, right? We're not called Sanctuary Cruises sunfish searching. We are Sanctuary Cruises whale watching. So let's get what we came here for. And there's whales all up in front of us. I think I've already counted at least 10 whales between the boat over there at our 10 o'clock and the boat over at our 2 o'clock. So we got a bunch of whales. So we're going to try to pick the very best ones that we think are going to give us the best show. And we're going to see what we do here. Just the right-hand side. We are going to be putting the whales on the right-hand rail. So head to the back and I'm going to help you across.
Wow, very nice. We'll see. And I'm going to finish it.
Awesome.
We're setting up.
But they're humpbacks, guys.
There's the hope.
These are kind of smaller.
Big bunch over there. Big bunch.
Yeah,
That's
you know
all
what?
those
There's
birds
going to
are
be a
doing.
bunch of them coming
Gonna
up
be
right
a
over there where all
whole
those
bunch of 'em
birds
over
are.
there.
They're going to come up feeding out of that.
Yep. Yes. A whole bunch.
We're going to see them come up and open their mouth. Do their lunch feed.
Yeah, they're going over to that. That'd be awesome. Can't blame them.
Wow, yeah, there's 2 blows. We got 3 blows right there.
Alright guys, so what we're watching here, for those that don't know, these are the humpback whales, pretty much the most popular and common whale here in Monterey Bay. And awesome looks of these two. And we got a whole group of, again, these are not dolphins up in front of us.
See the tail?
These are sea lions. Same thing we saw back in the harbor with more humpbacks coming right at us.
Big school of
We're going
fish.
to keep listening to these two on the right for the moment.
We have underwater microphones over here. Oh, awesome.
They're coming right for that group.
Guys, when we're slow like this too, you guys can stand up on the bow and the railing if you want. Just make sure you always hold on today, okay?
Yep, and the birds.
Coming this way, it looks like. I think. Can't really tell yet, actually. Just keep your eyes on the right, guys. Got a lot of action all across the bay. Sea lions, birds, whales, a lot of stuff to take in. I know it's pretty overwhelming.
Cool. Wow.
Hold on tight.
Oh yeah, hold on.
Hold on, everybody. Oh my God.
Here we go. Right in front of us. Wow.
Oh my God, how many sea
We got two whales crossing a bow. If you can make it to the left, you can come up the left-hand side. But, you got a whale over there. Whales on both sides of the boat.
We got whales everywhere.
Woody's tag.
Thank you.
Yeah, that red thing you just saw, this boat comes out, that boat comes out a couple times a year, and they put on what we call critter cams. Right there's a critter cam, what you may have seen with Nat Geo, where they take a little suction cup camera and place it on the whale, which it can last up to 24 hours. I think that's a pretty generous time. I heard they mostly only last a few hours, but either way, they're trying to capture footage of the whales, and then they will retrieve it later tomorrow. So that's that boat, that Zodiac that's now heading into shore. That's what they were doing, placing those critter cams on the back of the whales to observe their feeding behaviors under the water and seeing what they're seeing. Now, I've seen the videos. I've been met a lot of those people, and it doesn't look like a lot. I don't know what they're expecting to get. But in case you can't tell, the water here is dark and it is murky. Those critter cams work very in the left. Now, if you're unfamiliar with humpback whales, or you may be asking yourself how a 55-foot whale eats a little 5-inch fish, well, again, for the most part, that is because they are a baleen whale, which means they are a filter feeding whale. Instead of having bony teeth like you and I, or like these sea lions, dolphins, sharks, otters, they have baleen. And baleen is made up of keratin, the exact same stuff that your fingernails and hair are made of. And it looks and feels a lot like horse's hair, or household broom grown off whales up the roof of their mouth. So what these animals are doing most of the time under the water, but if we get lucky again here, we'll see it at the surface, is what we call lunge feeding. And that is where the whales open up their mouths super wide and expand their throat pleats on their lower chin like a big balloon, and then they'll gulp between 300 to 500 gallons of water and fish at a time before closing their mouths, pushing their tongue up toward the roof of its mouth as they push all the water out through the baleen, trapping the rest of the fish or krill inside. So again, they are filter feeding. Another way to think about it is that these animals are consuming large quantities, very small prey.
Yep.
Alright. Let's see, where are we looking at? Oh, we got a lot of birds up there at our 11-2 between us and the smokestacks. So we kind of had a bird group that we had at our 9, but they're gone. So I'd keep your eye at our 11. Yeah, see that? About 50 birds, maybe even more, 100 birds circling over there at our 11. So that could be where the bait ball is. So don't take your eyes off that spot. But I always say kind of keep a loose, call it a loose look. Because if the whale pops up just to your left a bit, you don't want to miss it. Kind of keep scanning until you see movement. rocky build. Some of their bigger, longer, and sleek and slender cousins, the blue and fin whales, travel much faster and they'll reach speeds a little over 30 miles an hour for longer durations of time. So, humpback's a pretty easy whale to watch due to their slow speed capacity. There are whales all around here. We got this one that was close. You can see another whale right beyond that one over there toward the beach. Two whales actually toward the beach over there. One. We got about another 6 to 7 whales over on our left that at least I can see right now at the surface in between us and that other boat over there too. So a lot of whales in here toward Moss Landing. And if you're not too familiar with Monterey Bay, you may be asking yourself, why are there so many whales right outside the harbor? Why are they right outside Moss Landing? Well, that's going to come down to a little geography lesson. So, Monterey Bay is shaped like a backward C. So down there to the south, that piece of land you see, it's still out there a little bit. That's the Monterey Peninsula, my hometown. And all the way to our 8 o'clock in the distance would be the city of Santa Cruz. So again, the bay is 26 miles north and south, with Moss Landing right in the middle. But the most important part of this bay does start in Moss Landing, and that would be the Monterey Submarine Canyon. Now this canyon will extend for over 95 miles west-southwest out to sea, dropping to staggering depths of over 11,200 feet. There's over 2 miles underneath the water surface, making it far deeper than the Grand Canyon of Arizona. However, this canyon is super vital to the bay's life and productivity because it does create what we call upwelling. And upwelling is where the current's moving in the water column. So it's cycling up the cold water from the abyss. And generally, the colder the water, the more oxygen molecules and carbon particulates it has. And it brings it up the canyon walls up here to the top layer called the euphonic zone to get the most amount of light. You then will get massive phytoplankton and zooplankton blooms, which will attract your small fish, which in turn attract your whales. So that is why we see almost all of these whales right outside Moss Landing, is due to our proximity over the canyon. In fact, it's not uncommon to have over 100 whales within a mile of Moss Landing during times of a lot of feeding, especially later in the year toward late summer and into fall. Let me give you a little perspective here, because I know the ocean all looks the same from the top. However, if you had see-through glasses, what you'd find is that if you went about, let's say 500 feet over to your right, the water depth there is only about 90 feet, right? Not too deep, 90, 100 feet, about 500 feet over to your right. If you jumped off the boat to the left side, you'd be falling down about 800 feet. So again, we're right at the end of the canyon, and again, that's where you get most of the upwelling as it works its way up the canyon walls. So you generally find the whales a lot of times like to walk at the canyon ledges looking for food. And if you were to jump overboard for some reason I wouldn't quite understand, jump off the right side. At least it'll be a little more shallow.
Guys, there's a little wobble this way. Make sure you got a good grip on the railing there. There you got 3 whales now. There's 3 of them there. 2 whales. Nice little group over here. Nice little hard group. That's not a bad little group of 3 adult whales heading the other way.
believe it or not, these humpback whales are actually considered to be a solitary animal. That is a very loose definition because they are a very social animal. They do form a lot of these groups, what we call pods, with one another, as well as other animals like the sea lions, gray whales, blue whales, right whales, dolphins, and resident killer whales, the ones that live up in the Pacific Northwest, Iceland, and Norway. So the fish eaters, not the transients, not the ones we see here that eat other mammals, but the residents. So these ponds that the humpbacks form with each other are what we refer to as a temporary pond. They may only last a few minutes, a few hours, even up to a couple months. They are always made up of a bunch of random individuals that come together to help each other feed. There's another whale, fourth whale, right over at 3 o'clock. So again, it's very unlikely any of these pods we see form are going to last very long. They're not forming those big family or social pods like a lot of toothed whales, like paddle whales, dolphins, or sperm whales, when they may stay in that same pod their entire lives, usually forming what we call a matrilineal group, where it's the oldest female in charge, hence the matriarch making all the decisions.
Yeah.
That's a small one.
It is.
I'm doing my math correct. There's about 15 humpback whales, I'd say within a half-mile radius of us right now. There are a whole bunch of, they're all kind of loose. We really like it when they get all together and it makes it easy to kind of get one spot and then put some little whales in. Right now.
I don't see him now. I don't know if he's eating it or what. Where does Catch go? Go get it. Bring it back up. What are you doing? I told these people you'd be mad dogging for. Now you're just floating around.
Guess he doesn't want to share it.
No. Well, it's funny because he was a big, looked like a big pink fleshy salmon or something. And now I don't know if he lost it or if he ate it all. But he was ripping it apart. Now he's kind of going back and forth. I don't know if he's looking for it or what. Give him a minute here. Yeah, he did. Well, we'll keep an eye on him. We'll see if he does it again soon. The birds are all hoping he finds it or brings more back up. But it could have sunk. It could have let go and it could have sunk right down to the water. He may have lost it. I can't find it anymore. Kind of looks like what he's doing. See, he's kind of looking down in the water like that, trying to find it again. And all the birds are patiently waiting. They're just tracking him, waiting for him to bring him back up.
How much time can you stay underwater?
Oh, a few minutes. He'll have to stand for about 10 minutes or so. 10, 15 minutes. I mean, way longer than, most humans.
Hold on tight for a moment. That was cool. I counted at least, I think I saw 8 whales. I think there's at least 8 whales here. Maybe a little more. It'd definitely be as low as 7, maybe up to 9 or 10, but I think I see at least 8 different individual whales right up here on our left. There's at least 1 or 2 more maybe on our right as well. But if you guys notice when they dive, did anyone see those flat circular pieces of water the whales left behind when they dove? Anyone see that? Maybe a few of you guys maybe? Well, those are what we call fluke prints, because obviously we can't call it a footprint because, well, they have no feet. So we call it a fluke print, and it's created every time the whales dive from all the water that they displace when they dive. So it has nothing to do with oils in their skin or what they're doing. It's just water displacement, something a physicist could probably better explain to you.
Oh, look at that one, just a little head lift. You guys see that?
Yeah.
The one just lifted his chin out of the water. I don't know, maybe he's looking around or kind of getting hit by all the other whales and sea lions. But that one definitely did a little head lift. So all of a sudden, now all the whales have really come together. We got about 6 whales now in this group. Another one to the outside of the 2 more, so we have at least 9 whales, maybe more. So they've really come together over the last 60 seconds.